Welcome back, everybody, to your shipper update. I'm Michael Vincent. He's Anthony Smith. It's Thursday. It's like Christmas every week for Anthony.
Every single Thursday, I get excited. It's like it's never happened before because we get these new initial jobless claim numbers. And we saw good news this week, this Thursday, 340,000. A lot of people, a lot of claims still, but it's a pandemic low. And we're getting closer and closer to that 300,000 benchmark. And so I love this because we used to be at that 700,000 and we're stuck at 600,000 for so long.
Yeah.
And then it was just kind of a lull at 400,000, but now we are making some continued progress and it's a good thing to see. And like I said, we have to look at this in accordance to how all the other aspects of the reports are moving. So looking at the unemployment rate, looking at the payroll, looking at quit rates, those voluntary separations, that's a good indicator of overall confidence within the industry and your chances of getting a new job. So we're looking at that and it's good news for consumers. In our next chart, we're also seeing another good sign for overall manufacturing, and we're seeing that the ISM PMI here in the blue line actually grew once again. And this is going to be the, let's see, the 15th month of expansion for the ISM PMI. So showing that there is continued growth, there is continued momentum for the manufacturing sector.
And that's a month over month. So last month was strong at a 59.5.
That's right.
The new one in is 63 something?
That's right. The new one is going to be at 59.5. So it increased close to that 60 benchmark. And so we're seeing continued growth. Within it, there are different components of the PMI. So in the next chart, we're going to look at what's going on with the overall backlogs and new orders. And so we're looking at this new orders and we're seeing that new orders actually increase 1.8 percentage points, showing that there is continued momentum still coming in. And new orders also at a 15-month growth trend of continued expansion.
We're in a good trend right now.
We are.
Yeah, that's good. And now but during those 15 months for most of them, that unemployment claims were still 700,000, 900,000.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, so now we're finally getting people back in work and going. Maybe that's the air in this engine mixed with the fuel that's going to get things going, yeah?
Hopefully, because we're going to need more employment within this sector for sure. Shippers are going to need it. Producers of these manufactured goods are going to need it.
We need to employ people so they can produce it and then go out and buy it.
Exactly.
Right?
That's exactly it. We need them on both sides of the equation.
That's right,
and so in the next chart, as these new orders are building up, the next chart, we're going to see the backlogs of also building up. So we're seeing backlogs up to 68.2, nearing that 70 percentage point mark. And that's going to be a really wild number to pass up. And we have a whole nother chart after this as well, Michael Vincent. In our next chart here, we're going to look at what's going on with prices, because that's going to also be a big thorn in a lot of producers' side. And that's going to be, right now, it dropped 6.3 percentage points. Now, that's not saying that there's a huge drop off in pricing, because prices were at historic highs. Pricing is now at 79.4, so it's just eased slightly, but it's still very much robust.
Is this a sentiment index as well?
Prices are going to, this is all the ISM PMI, so it's all part of the diffusion index.
Oh, so this is a diffusion. These aren't actual price. So this is where the logistics managers think it's going.
Yeah, this is where they're seeing it right now.
So they're still saying pricing pressure, upward pressure, just a little bit less than they thought last month.
Exactly, exactly. And so we're seeing that happen right now. We're seeing a lot of activity, a lot of movement still going on. And so with pricing just edging down ever so slightly, we are going to expect that that's going to be a big thorn in the side for time to come. So we're seeing it's still above that 50 mark. Inflation's still here. It's not spiking, it's not increasing exponentially, but it's still moderating, and that's going to be an issue for a lot of producers as we see those raw commodities, those raw goods really make their way into these factories. It's going to be a slow going. As we're talking about those factories operating around 60% overall capacity, when we're looking at overseas, that's going to be another bottleneck overall. So looking at
trade, moving it across seas, you're paying exponential price. I mean, there's so much pressure on pricing upward just getting the raw goods moved or the products moved.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So looking at it across the board, Michael Vincent, there's a lot of headwinds, a lot of variables, but on the upside, we're seeing positivity within those jobless claims, within employment. We're also seeing positivity going on within manufacturing, albeit as a little bit outpacing what we wanted to see, because we want to be able to actually manufacture those goods as it continued to come in.
Yeah, it seems like we're in this great experiment that is proving Zach Strickland wrong. That actual, the consumer sentiment is actually true.
It matters,
Well, because there's headwinds, right?
Yeah,
But there's
yeah.
also that positive outlook, like that we're going to get through this pandemic. We're going to get through this. Yeah, we got a bump in the road with the Delta, but we're going to get through that as well. And it's still out there because with all the headwinds, you would think it would be very easily for people to say, you know what, things are bad, but
Yeah.
they're not.
Yeah, a lot of
not doing it.
positivity out there. Unfortunately, Delta, of course, keeping production low
Sure.
with bottlenecks, but after that, there's a lot of gas in the tank, even as
Lot
we
of
start to
gas.
moderate. And 2022 is still a lot more left to go.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Anthony. We'll catch up with you again, I guess, tomorrow.